Hello traders, and welcome to this week's episode of the weekly market breakdown presented by @BigPips Only and myself, Jim, the owner and founder of @BigPips Only. So getting straight into it, this week we're going to be looking at four pretty high quality setups. Some we're already in, some we're already looking at, but going right in ahead and covering what we see so far in the market and a few high probability setups that we can look forward to into next week. Okay, now these are just a few that I've seen so far, taking 30 minutes to look at the charts, going through a few. Three of them are major pairs, so they popped out pretty easily, and then one is an FX cross with the Australian Canadian dollar. So, haven't really looked at all the pairs yet, haven't even really looked at commodities or indices, but these are a few that we can look forward to, and as the week progresses, we will see what else we can find in the setups. Okay, so getting straight into it, right? I know a lot of people in the Discord were speaking about USD CHF. So looking here, USD CHF on the monthly, right? You can see that we've kind of created this head and shoulders pattern. Okay, and now we're in the retrace. What do you expect after that? Further continuation down. So, looking here on the monthly, if you fib from the shoulder, right, you expect a retrace of the market to at least the 382 and further continuation down. So we could see this happening right now. Okay, now if we go back, okay, and if we go down to the daily time frame, okay, you can see that what the market is doing here, okay, it pushed down, right? It was in a downtrend, clear downtrend, pushed down, all right? But when it did that, what it did, right, it pushed down to those previous lows, shot right back up, okay, came past those highs, went straight back down, and is now coming back up again. Okay, and you can see this, and there's really two things, right, that you need to pay attention to here with price, because price broke the highs here, okay, and then immediately rejected back down. So what we really have here, at this current point in time, we have this, this sort of ranging, this ranging market here. Okay. So you have that point. Okay. So you somewhat have this, this ranging market here. And let's even go ahead. Okay. Now, what we have here is somewhat of a market that's trapped. Okay, so there's a few probabilities that could happen here. Okay, I mean, if you're a ranging trader, right, you could look to range this back and forth. But the real test here is going to be whenever we break above or below these levels. Okay, because what could happen, right, is if we would see a break above this, right, we'd want to wait for the retest, and then we would be shooting up towards these levels up here. Okay, 102.5 region. Okay, 101, a dollar, 0.125 up in that region. So that is a possibility. Another possibility here, okay, and this could be a probability because what's happening, right? The market is pushing up. We could see it push, right, back up into these highs if you would have fibbed here, right? And the market could break here, and then we could see that play out, okay? The market could come up here, double top out, and then come back down towards this level, right? We would look for the rejection up here, right, off of this key level here, and we could short it down, or, you know, once it's completed on the retest, right, that retrace into the neckline, pull out our fib at least to 382, and then we could short it back down towards that level. Okay, and then what is the market currently doing, right? Okay, now if you're being, you know, trying to be predictive, you can see that the market, okay, it pushed up, it rejected, it pushed up, and it rejected again. Okay, so maybe what we're seeing here is the market trying to push back down to this level now. Okay, and if you were, right, to pull out a fib, if price is to reject, right, off of one of these levels, we could see it push back down. Okay, so what we have the market doing currently, right, it did push up into that secondary kill zone up here, you know, that 70.5 all the way to the 78.6, went up to the 75.4 in between there and the 70.5. Okay, so in that little 30 pip range it went up in, and you can see if you go down, right, that here on the 4 hour we have this evening star forming, and a bunch of different things happening. So we could see price, right, push down from there as well. Okay, you had this head and shoulders pattern, you know, that sort of played out here, pushed it all the way back up. Okay, maybe you say that the head and shoulders pattern, you know, plays out here. This could be the retrace to at least 382, and we could continue up as well. Okay, which would take us most likely up into that full market retrace. All right, so a few things to look at, right? We will pay attention to price on this bad boy. We'll monitor it, right? As of right now, you know, we are rejecting off that secondary kill zone, and our chart, right, our what we look for our patterns on, we are sort of forming this head and shoulders pattern right now. So we could possibly see this retracement from here. Okay, we could see price continue to fall. Like I told you all on Friday, I know some people shorted it here. I actually did short it from here. So I am in this trade, you know, live in this trade. 97,908 is the entry. Okay, so we could see price continue to push from here. If you miss this, right, after we will complete this shoulder, right, what you'll do, you wait for that market to bottom out. We will look for the retrace, right? You don't want it to break that shoulder high, but you'll look for that retrace to at least the 382, and then you can go ahead and continue this going down. Okay, so that is what we will be looking for on USD CHF, right? And bear in mind, right, that everything right now structurally, you know, since March 29th, we have been going up, but on those higher time frames, right, that daily, we could see that rejection. If not, we will most likely come retest those previous highs, either double top off of that, or we will go ahead, right, reject here, or we will see a break above that, right? So we'd see a break. We'd want to get in on the retest of that level, okay, and then continue. Okay, so that is USD CHF. Now moving on to the next pair, right, we'll look at that cross pair. We will look at AUDCAD. Okay, now AUDCAD, this was marked up, I guess, a while ago. This move has already played out, and if you pay attention, right, you can see that what would have happened, all of those fib levels got hit as well. So this one was a quick in and out for me, right? I didn't end up taking it all the way that I could have. You know, it shows that it's down, you know, towards that level, but I got out around 86, so it dropped, you know, another 500 pips after that, and then now that is where we are in the market. Okay, now with what is going on now, I think that there could be another, you know, another nice clean setup forming here. So what I will do, move this, remove this. Okay, so what we have here, okay, is really, it's really simple. It's really clean, and I'm going to show you this on the weekly because you can see it very clearly on the weekly, right? And the higher time frame that you're going to be on, the higher the quality of that signal is going to be, right? The higher the pip count is going to be. So that is something to always bear in mind when you are trading. Okay, so what do we see here? Okay, we see clearly that the market had previous support here at this level, right? And it is now resistance. Okay, so you have a previous support turned resistance. Okay, so going ahead, looking at these things, you see them, right? So what you would do, you go ahead, right? Now that you have seen it, you go down to the daily time frame, okay? And you can again see it even clearer, right? At this previous support is now being utilized as resistance, okay? And if you go ahead and you fib this out with your Fibonacci from that swing to the swing, right? You can see that nice rejection. Okay, so it's fallen from here, so we missed that key, that high top, right? So what we will do, and in the Discord chat, and if you're not in the Discord chat, you know, I want to make sure you're eating as well. So what you can do, okay, and you can kind of see it here, and let's remove this fib. I don't want it to mess anybody up, okay? But what you can do here is you're kind of looking for that creation of that head and shoulders pattern, okay? So what you can do, okay, and let's go back. Let's just go to the daily. Okay, maybe I can show you this a little bit better. So what you'll be doing, and I will make sure we color this out. You can see that the market, oh, I don't realize how hard it is to draw with this little tool. All right, pushed up, pushed down, pushed back up, and is now pushing back into the neck. Okay, so if we should see a push back up, you know, it sort of create that shoulder there, we could see the market continue down. Now, if you miss these entries, right, entries around here, what you can do, right, wait for that shoulder to form, bottom out, okay, and once that shoulder bottoms out, what you'll do, look for the retrace, right, from that shoulder high to that low to at least the 382, and then you can look if price continues, if structure holds, you can then look, right, for further short positions down on this. Okay, so that would be a nice little setup to look forward to. But things to take into consideration, okay, what is the market doing as of current, right? You're going up, okay, so what it could be doing, right, if you see something like this and we go up to create that shoulder, right, if you break it, guess what's probably going to happen? Okay, you can then begin to look for price if it breaks that shoulder to continue to push higher to retest those previous highs. So something to always pay attention to, right? Always look for both case scenarios when you're trading, okay? Because if you keep both scenarios in mind, because really if you think about it, the market can move one of two ways. It can move up, it can move down. Okay, yes, it can move sideways, but really it's going to move up or down. So if you can keep both scenarios in mind and you know what to look out for both of those scenarios, right, your losses are going to be very few, far in between, very small. Okay, always remember that in trading, you should only have 4 outcomes. Okay, with your trades, you should only ever have 4 outcomes. Okay, and I will go over those 4 outcomes very quickly. Okay, you should have a large win, meaning that your win was large, right? You should have a small win. You know, your trade goes into profit, you lock your stops into profit, and you get a small win, right? 7, 9 pips, however far you put your stops into profit. Okay, break even, right? So you're positive in trade, and then you move your stops to break even, and then a small loss. Okay, you should only ever have small losses. If you notice that a large loss, I did not include it, right? It's because they should be non-existent. You should know when to close your losers and when to hold your winners, right? If you are consistently struggling with large losses, you're consistently blowing your account, it is most likely due to the fact that you do not have a laid out strategy that is consistent, right? And you're not leveraging properly, those types of things. So go back to the basics and then move on to the more advanced stuff, because once you master the basics, leveraging, risk management, you understand the basics of structure. Okay, you can add in those fancy stuff, right? You can add in the Fibonacci's, the Fib extensions, the institutional levels, moving averages, exponential moving averages, all those types of things to give you even further confluence with your trading. Okay, so stick to the basics, and with that, utilize them to go and find both case scenarios in the market, right? Because if you realize, right, the market can only move two ways. So if you have both outcomes, you're ready and prepared for anything. Okay, so that is the second pair. Now moving on, we're going to look at Euro USD. Now with Euro USD, okay, we are currently actually in this trade, right? We longed it last week and we are shorting it this week, right? It was off of this daily Fibonacci. We had this swing high, swing low. Okay, we got right into that kill zone. You can see that it is circled there. There's an institutional level there as well. And price did what? Immediately rejected off of it and is continuing down. Now, there are two possible outcomes here. Okay, the first, the market is going to continue to come down. It's going to break this level. Okay, if and when it breaks this level, it'll come up, retest. And if it breaks these lows here, we will see this market continue down, right? We can pull out our extension levels, and those will be our targets. Okay, so we could do this, right? And then we would have all of these targets now, right? If structure holds, you hold. If structure continues, you would continue to hit these take profit levels, right, on the way down. So that is the first scenario. Okay, more than likely, structurally, we are going down. So that is the first scenario that could happen here. Okay, so looking at that, right, now let's just go down to the 4 hour, right? Well, actually, let's look at one thing here quickly. Okay, this could be a fake breakout. This could possibly be a fake breakout. Okay, I don't usually use COT data, but this week I have actually gone ahead and checked it. Okay, and checking it, right, you can see that Euro USD here, right? I mean, really, this and this COT data, right? The institutions didn't really add a bunch of short positions here. So what we could possibly be seeing, okay, is this fake breakout here, right? You had this previous low, this fake breakout, and it went right back up, right? Now you have psychologically retail traders, right? It rejects off of that key resistance level, that golden zone, 61.8, and shoots down. Now, what we could see happen here, and you can kind of see it, right? Price came down and touched it and then bounced back up, 20, 30 pips. So what we can be doing is looking here at this level, right? And on the 4 hour, you must pay attention, because structurally, right, we are still in a downtrend. So, if we were to see our confirmations, maybe get, this inverted head and shoulders pattern structure breaks, then we can begin, right, to look for long positions. You missed the shoulder, get in on the retracement, at least at 382, and we can begin to target these levels up in here, right? That could be a possibility, okay? If this was, in fact, a false breakout, okay, they're coming down, all right, maybe to possibly go ahead and gather some liquidity, okay, because they still have not gone ahead and really gone ahead and implemented extra added short positions, right, on the euro. So we could see this continue up here. All right, so those are the two possibilities, right? We will either see price more than likely, and it'll more than likely occur on or around this level here. Okay, if it drops too far below here, like I said, what we're probably going to see is like this. All right, but if we see something like this, or, you know, something where, you know, maybe it comes down a little bit further, maybe it doesn't, maybe it comes up, then comes back down, we could see the market begin to push up. So we're going to be monitoring price action very, very closely on the EURUSD this week, and we will catch a very, very nice setup on it. Okay, now moving on to the last pair, GBPUSD. As a lot of you may know, this was really the only call I called out in the signals chat last week, right? We ended up catching a few hundred pips on it. So nothing to shy away from. Okay, so again, what do we have? GBPUSD, right? You had a market which was going down, 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 right? Rejected, came off of this trend line here. Market was at 132. We shorted it, right? And it went all the way down to 114. Now, after an impulse like that, right, what do you expect? Okay, you expect the market to make a correction and then continue to the downside if we are in fact in a downtrend. So we had this level, right? And last week we shorted it. Last week before, we bought all of this up, right? We had all those levels, we had those targets, and then we closed the majority of our positions at the 50%, right? Because we are now in that kill zone and we can begin to look for those short positions, right? So members in the group, we've already discussed this a lot, so I'll be very, very quick with it. But you had the market reject, okay? And what were a few of the reasons for that, okay? I mean, you have your 200 EMA here. Okay, you had a bunch of different confluence with that. Price was rejecting it fairly well. Okay, and those types of things. So adding all this confluence together, right, you're able to go ahead and get a nice position in on this. Now we got in, you know, fairly early, 124.505, and it was on that second rejection, right, of that 4 hour 200 moving average. Okay, so it was over here, right? That original entry. So what price did, it came back down and it came back up and retested it again, right? Also retesting that institutional level there, which was also, you know, a lot closer to the 61.8 than it was to the 50%. So overall, you know, a nice position here, nice move. And I could see this continuing into next week possibly. Okay, so right now, right, we are in a short position. We will remain in that until structure breaks. Okay, your stop losses at this point, as I told you at the end of the week, right, you need to move your stops. I said if we broke this level and closed below this level, I would move my stops to 23. Currently, my stops are at 27.5. So I currently have about 120 pips secured, locked in profit, not going to lose it no matter what. And we will let this move play out for the remainder of the week. So if you guys and gals enjoyed this analysis, you know, please feel free to give us a like, a subscribe, so we can get out to the community and we can help a lot of other traders. Okay, if you're interested in the signals chat, link is in the description, as well as the course if you would like to learn to trade with us, with the Big Pips Only family, and learn the art of technical analysis and institutional trading levels. So again, I hope you all enjoyed this weekly free analysis video, and I will see you all next week. Best of luck, traders, and catch them pips.